Well, hello, good morning, everybody. Good to see a few of you on the chat this morning. Yeah, on the road. Hey, morning, Deb, Marcus, James. Good to see you guys on this morning. I'm picking up my my son's ute. He's off up early. He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and goes to rowing. So today he couldn't get the ute, so I've picked it up from the garage. There you go. Hopefully you're all awesome and well. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Good to see all of you here. Let me turn this on here so we know where we are. There we go. Wealth Coffee Chats, it's on. Great to see a few of you guys here this morning. Jeff, mate, good morning. Chris. Yeah, well, yeah, it's mad, huh? Hey, I did hear, I was looking at a little bit of science the other day, and I did hear about this wet, crazy year or two we're having. There's three things that have happened all at the same time: the El Nino or El Nino, whichever one is the wet one. There's a sort of an equator thing happening, and then there's another weather pattern happening, all happening at the same time. Anyway, what's that mean to us as property investors? Well, many of us are caught up in long extensions for wet weather and construction. Yeah, I've got a property that's being built up in Brisbane, and wow, it's taken a long time. Not only a little bit of COVID delays, which has been not too bad, but the wet weather delays have been pretty crazy. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully you're all awesome and well. Welcome to our Wealth Coffee Chat. Jason Witten's my name, if you didn't already know. And if you're new, let us know in the chat. If you're dropping by, I can see Simon there. I can see a couple of people in the private Facebook groups, which is cool. Hello to you. You're coming through as a Facebook user. I probably know you. But yeah, where you're coming in from, let us know for the live this morning. Hey, listen, this morning I want to have a little quick chat about a question I get asked often. Is it too late? Is it too late to invest? One version of the world. And am I too old to invest? What do you guys think? Is it too late to invest? Am I too old to invest? What are your thoughts? Tell me in the chat. Too late, too old. Too late, too old. You know, what type of questions are they? Is it too late to invest? Or am I too old to invest? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? What do you think an age? What do you think an age? An age that's too late to invest? Interesting. Because, to be honest, my answer today, too late. Yeah, why didn't I? Well, that's a better question, isn't it, Melinda? Yeah, yeah, it's a better question. You know, why didn't you start a decade ago? And you know, here's my answer right now. You know, are you dead? No. All right. Well, it's not too late to invest. I think I put this up the other week in the mentoring group. You know, are you dead? Yes. Well, it's too late to invest. You know, however, my answer is, if you're dead, the investment that you did do is now being passed on to those you love and those you care about, or things that you care about. And that's awesome too. I talked the other night about, you know, these questions, these conversations, as far as I'm concerned, when I see this, are often based in two things. Fear, right? Is it too late to invest? Am I too old? That's a fear-based question. It's a lack-based question. And this is not a personal jib at anyone, but it's just like, understand where that question's coming from, right? Because the answer is, you know, most people right now if you're 40 to 50, it is highly likely with the medical improvements and the longevity trends in the world that you're going to live to well beyond 70, 80, 90. The average age is predicted to be beyond 90 in the next few decades. All right. So folks, tell me, like, just think about this. What's the average age of retirement? Put that in the chat. The average age, awesome, mate. Awesome. 57, still very active in the market. Yes. Right. Now that's the question. Now there's a question there. Tell me who that was who asked the question about, will lenders lend you money? All right. So let's deal with the first one. Is it too late to invest? That's a question people ask no matter what age they are. And the answer is no, absolutely not. That question, is it too late to invest? That's a question based in fear and lack and have I missed out? Did I miss the market? No. If you're thinking of a 1 or 2 year horizon, then maybe that's a question that makes sense. But we all know, you guys know this. We are looking at an investment horizon, 15, 20 years minimum, folks. And the other night, I challenged many on our coaching and mentoring call to even think further, 30, 50 years. Imagine owning some great real estate for 50 years and passing that on to your next generation. Because if you're, let's say, 57 right now, active in the market, and you add 30 years to 57, right? That's 87, isn't it? That's 87, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's 87. You're still not dead, folks. You're still alive. And, your investments, even if you start now, in 30 years' time, you're still living, you're still kicking, you're still probably very happy and healthy. And imagine what your properties would be worth in 30 years' time. Passing that on to the people you love and care about, maybe donating it if you want to, whatever it is. Folks, it's not too late. You're not too old. Absolutely bloody not. So crack on. Let's deal with the question about the lenders. All right, let's deal with the question about the lenders. Yes, the lenders are, let's call them arseholes. Anyway, they're a necessary part of what we do. Sometimes that's a bit harsh, but yeah, listen, they can be a pain in the ass. They talk about, you're a bit old. Here's a few tips. A lot of the lenders ask when you're going to retire. Melinda answered the question 65. Well, when you answer the question, if the lender says, when are you going to retire? The age, folks, is 75. You tell them it's 75 because you're going to stay active. You're going to stay actively involved in the workplace. Don't say 60 or 65. That's bullshit. No, you're going to be 75 or 80 and when you retire. Number one, tell them that. Tell your broker that. Tell your finance team that, because that's what's going to happen, right? Thanks, Brendan. Yeah, the young fellas. I keep forgetting to take them off when I drive the kids' car around. So tell them that you're not going to retire until you're 75, 80. Number one, for borrowing and lending purposes. Number two, part of the process of getting a loan when you're a little bit older is writing down an exit plan, having an exit conversation, which is normal and natural for the lender. How are they going to see this debt repaid at some point in the future? And you can say, listen, at age 75, I'm going to sell and, get rid of the debt, which you're not going to sell, by the way. You might change your mind along the way because your property improves and you keep it and the debt's irrelevant at that point in time, blah, blah, blah. But really the third part, here's what I've done with a lot of people. So let's say you are 55 to 65 right now. Let's say you are 55 to 65 right now, folks. Tell me, by and large, most people at that age have purchased a house maybe a fair while ago. And what does a person often older, 55 or 65, have in abundance? and this is in general, folks. So just tell me, what do they have in abundance when it comes to property or economics, dollars around property? Tell me in the chat. What do they have a lot of? What do they have a lot of in that space? Tell me what often when we get older, we got a lot of something, and when we're younger, we don't have much of it. And then we flip around. Tell me, boom, equity, folks. Right, boom. All right, sweet. Now, tell me, for many of us, it might not be everyone, but when you do kick the bucket, when you do finally croak it, tell me, who do you want? Who are you going to leave these properties to? Who's going to get it? Who are you going to pass them on to? Who eventually is like, hey, I'm done. I'm dusted. I've had my time here on this little blue rock in the middle of nowhere, hanging out in space and time. Boom, kids, right? The kids. And usually when you're the age of 55 or 60, usually, how old are your kids? Here's some questions. I'm building this up. Most people's kids are usually between 20 and 30 years old, right? 20 and 30 years old. And what are they doing right now? Well, tell me that in the chat. What are your kids at age 20 or 30 doing? All right. And work with me on this in the chat. What are your kids doing? What are your children doing at that stage? All right. Tell me what they've got an abundance of, maybe at that stage of their life, in between their 20s and 30s. Interesting. Well, what they have an abundance of, often in those early days, is income. Boom, they're working. Yep, they're working, and they're trying to get a deposit together. Yeah, Chris, they're working. They have got jobs. They have got serviceability. Now, here's what I've done a lot of over the years. If people are a bit older and they have lots of equity, then we have helped them team up with their younger, their children. Yep, team up with their children, put together a proper investment plan and trust. So usually we do it in a company trust structure, this type of thing, but maybe that's not always the case, because most of us, when we buy properties personally, it's a lot easier to buy them in our own name, but this might be a bit different. You team people up. Mum and dad provide the equity, the children provide the cash flow, and you guys together build the family portfolio. And what you do is you put a plan together. Mum and dad get to use the portfolio until a certain time frame, okay, which is usually the last 20 years of your life, until you kick the bucket or you agree on a certain amount of cash flow and equity. You do a little matrix, and then the kids can use the equity too. We've done it very successfully. Family bought 5 properties using mum and dad's equity, and then the kids, when they wanted to buy their own home, could extract some equity out of the portfolio and bought their own home. Okay, so and then along the way, mum and dad get to use the property portfolio until, sadly, but the wheel of life keeps turning. They kick the bucket, and then that goes on to the children as we go. So there's an idea. Is it too late to invest? The answer is no. Am I too old to invest? The answer is no. We might have to create different strategies, different conversations, different ideas to get the outcome. And that's what I love about this stuff. There's many ways to skin the cat, folks. Is that right? Skin the cat, yeah. Many ways to skin the cat. Anyway, there you go. Wealth Coffee Chat, done and dusted today. If that's you, maybe think about that. Maybe think about how you go now into that next phase where you are the foundational investor in a family investment plan. That might be kind of cool. You could help train and seed, the family's wealth into the future. And if not, if that's not you, if that's not your gig, then when we look at the world of investing for you, then we need to make sure you represent your plan to the lenders in the right light so you can continue to borrow. And, you know, you're going to live to 80 or 90, folks. That's the facts of the matter. Most people at the moment. So we need to have some funding and some wealth to that age. All right, that's it. Done and dusted. You guys be awesome and well. I'll take my P plates off now and drive the young fella's van home. Well, it's not a van, it's a ute. All right, folks, that's it. Thanks for joining me on the Wealth Coffee Chat. Remember, two things. What are they? Two things. What are they? This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. And the idea is to buy real estate that you want to keep for a long time, which is buy well and don't bloody sell. All right, folks, that's it. I'm done. See ya. See you tomorrow. Join me tomorrow. I've got a good one tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to tell you what it is. All right, bye, folks. See ya.